UroPatient. Tune in and see. Prepare your health for you and me. Knowledge is power. Power. We make it clear every Saturday morning.
Hey, good morning. I'm your host of UroPatient podcast, Vic Senese. Welcome to the show. I'm going to redo that one. Hey, good morning. I'm Vic Senese, and welcome to the UroPatient podcast. Hey, if you haven't liked or subscribed, what are you waiting for? Like and subscribe to our show. Are certain foods and drinks secretly irritating your bladder? In today's episode of UroPatient, I'm going to break down the most common bladder irritants and how they can worsen symptoms like urgency, frequency, burning, and even incontinence. So hang on, let's go over that.
You ever have one of those days where your morning coffee seems to have a direct line to your bladder? Well, today, we're going to figure out why. We're diving deep into the hidden culprits behind those sudden gotta-go moments. Yep, we are talking all about bladder irritant. Okay, so picture this. You've just finished that delicious morning coffee. You're in your first big meeting, you're trying to be super focused, and then it hits you. Bam, that sudden, urgent feeling. You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? The one where you're just mentally counting down the seconds until you can slip out of the room. So, if that whole scene feels a little too familiar, listen up. It is not just in your head. What you're feeling is a real, actual physiological response. Some of the things we eat and drink can directly mess with our bladders, making them, well, kind of overactive and sending us running. So today, we're going to break down exactly what's going on. All right, so let's get into the science of it all. What is actually happening inside your body that causes that gotta-go feeling when your bladder gets irritated? You know, what's so interesting here is the difference. Think about it. A normal, happy bladder. It just calmly stores urine and gives you a polite little nudge when it's time to go. But an irritated bladder? Oh, that's a whole different ballgame. Its muscle gets all overactive, it starts contracting way more than it should, and it sends these super strong and sometimes totally false signals of urgency. It's that feeling of, I have to go right now, even when your bladder isn't even full. Okay, so a key player in this whole story is a word you've probably heard thrown around, diuretic. So what is it? Simply put, a diuretic is anything that basically tells your kidneys to go into overdrive. It makes them produce more urine than they normally would. And of course, more urine means your bladder fills up a whole lot faster. All right, now that we've got the science down, let's meet the usual suspects. We're going to run through some of the most common triggers that could be behind all this. First up, of course, is suspect number 1, caffeine. I mean, it's everywhere, right? Coffee, tea, soda, even chocolate. We already know it's a diuretic, but that's not the whole story. Oh, no. Caffeine can also have a direct effect on the bladder muscle itself, causing it to contract when you don't want it to. And on top of that, it can make your bladder more sensitive, so it feels full way sooner than it actually is. And get this. This number is pretty staggering. Research shows that women who drink a lot of caffeine, we're talking 400 milligrams or more a day, are 70% more likely to experience urinary incontinence. Now, this can really affect anyone, but certain anatomical differences can make women even more sensitive to these effects. That is a huge, huge connection. So that begs the question, right? How much caffeine are you actually getting? I mean, look at this. A single espresso or a regular cup of coffee can pack up to 200 milligrams. So if you have one of those in the morning, then maybe a soda and a black tea in the afternoon, wow, you can see just how fast that adds up. It's surprisingly easy to hit that 400 milligram number we just mentioned. Okay, let's talk about suspect number 2, alcohol. This one really hits your bladder with a 1-2 punch. First, just like caffeine, it's a diuretic, so it makes you produce more urine. But second, as your body breaks it down, it creates this byproduct called acetaldehyde. And guess what? That stuff gets into your urine and is a major bladder irritant. It's what can cause those really strong, frequent contractions. All right, on to suspect number 3, and this one's a bit sneaky. Carbonated drinks. You might think it's just the bubbles, but it's more than that. A lot of them have preservatives like citric acid that can trigger bladder contractions. And if you're a fan of diet sodas, whoa, that can be a real double whammy, or even a triple whammy. You've got the carbonation, you often have caffeine, and you've got artificial sweeteners, which research shows can make the bladder muscle contract even more. And hey, it's not just about what you drink. Certain foods can absolutely be triggers too. Think about acidic stuff like citrus fruits or tomatoes. Those are really common culprits. And spicy foods? That's another big one. The stuff in chili peppers that makes your mouth burn? Yeah, it can actually activate those same heat and pain receptors in your bladder. And for some people, even things like onions or chocolate can set things off. Okay, so we've lined up all the usual suspects. Now for the most important part, right? What are you supposed to do about all this? Well, let's talk about how you can become your own bladder detective and really nail down your personal triggers. The key here really is to be systematic. The best way to do this is what's called an elimination and reintroduction method. So here's how it works. You pick just one potential bad guy to cut out of your diet. Let's say it's soda. For a week or two, you completely get rid of it and just pay attention. Keep a simple diary. Are things better? Then you slowly add it back in and see what happens. Do those symptoms return? This is honestly the clearest way to figure out exactly what's affecting your body. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Quit coffee? If the thought of going cold turkey gives you a headache just thinking about it, don't sweat it. There's a much gentler way called caffeine fading. It's super simple. You just gradually reduce how much you drink. Maybe cut back by half a cup each day for a week. Or swap one of your cups for decaf or just plain water. This way, you can cut down without all those nasty withdrawal symptoms. Okay, we need to talk about one of the biggest mistakes people make when they're dealing with bladder issues. It's something I like to call the hydration paradox. It seems logical, right? If you have to go all the time, just drink less water. But in reality, that strategy can totally, completely backfire. And here's one reason why. Restricting your fluids can actually make you constipated. And when that happens, a full bowel puts pressure on your bladder, which stops it from working the way it should, and that just makes your urinary symptoms even worse. See? It's all connected. But honestly, here's the biggest reason. When you don't drink enough, your urine gets super concentrated. It gets that dark yellow color. Well, that concentrated urine is packed with waste products, and it is a massive bladder irritant all on its own. So by drinking less, you're actually making your bladder soak in a more irritating liquid. Not what you want. So what's the sweet spot? The goal is to aim for about 60 ounces of fluids a day. You don't need to go crazy, but you want to drink enough so that your urine is consistently a light pale yellow color. Think straw-colored. That's the visual cue that you've got a happy, well-hydrated bladder. Wow, okay, we've covered a ton of ground today, right? From the science of that gotta-go feeling to the lineup of usual suspects and a real action plan. You now have all the tools you need to become your own bladder detective. So I guess the only question left is, which suspect are you going to investigate first?
All right. Well, I hope you found that interesting. I know a lot of you will find it kind of strange that some of these foods could cause that issue, or some of these things that you drink can cause these issues with your bladder. But hey, I always say if you just start eliminating things, you can eliminate one at a time and see if it works, or you can eliminate everything and then start introducing them. If it works, start introducing those things back in. But keep that in mind. Your whole problem may just be what you're eating. Hey, next week, bladder neck contraction is a challenging complication that can occur after treatment for benign prostatic hyperplasia. And it's something every patient and clinician should understand. Next week, I'm going to break down what a bladder neck contraction is, why it happens, and how it impacts urinary function after procedures like a TURP, a laser treatment, or even other BPH issues that you can have treated. So be sure to check us out next week to learn more about that. Until then, have a great day and enjoy us every time you can on UroPatient Podcast.
From research updates to daily advice, Vic explains it all simple and precise. No question too small, no topic too wide. We're your urology partner, right by your side. UroPatient, tune in and see, paving your health for you and me. Knowledge is power, power. We make it clear every Saturday morning. The podcast is here.